It's currently very late, so I might sound a bit quiet and my chair might be squeakier because of that. However, this is going to be a hopefully short enough video where I basically go over the points of why I think that Voids Adrift is kind of going to be, well, I wouldn't say a scam because I don't think the developers are planning for it to be a scam, but it's damn well not going to happen, and if it is, it's probably going to be kind of underwhelming. And I know that when I say this, it might make a lot of you angry, considering that there doesn't really seem to be anything wrong. However, since I have been here, I was like one of the first, not, I mean, yes, one of the first, definitely in the first 50 members who joined. I'd still say that I have some knowledge about why this might not work. So, an important thing to note is why I actually think this is going to all go poorly. So throughout all of this time, Voids Adrift has made very little progress when you look at the entire development process. And whilst I am not like a proper game dev in terms of coding and stuff, just comparing it to other projects of similar scope already shows a lot more, shows like already results. So, in the early days of Voids Adrift, there was of course like a there was of course progress being made. You'd see these really cool low poly models, and it looked like quite a fun game. And I mean, the entire community was really excited about how it was going to turn out. And the low poly models were easy to make. The devs seemed to know what they were doing, and everything was, at least from the community's perspective, going well. The main people in the dev team were Jack and Scorched at that point. And I do not know much about how the situation was then. I was just kind of like lurking in chat and stuff. Well, after a while, I became friends with one of the people in the Discord, and we decided to basically try to apply for the dev team because it was just like a few people working on a passion project. And so I drew up a concept for a rifle, and that friend modeled it, and then we like suggested it. There was quite a bit of back and forth thing. There was like, yeah, I think it like there was 6 months of nothing after we sent it because we suggested it to Scorched, and he was like, this is cool, but we can't really do this. But then when we finally managed to present it to Jack, he was like, fuck yeah, and the two of us basically became like developers. I mean, developers. I wasn't really a developer. I was like a concept artist, and my friend was a modeler. So basically, that is how I got an exquisite look at what was happening inside of the dev team. At first, not the entirety of it, and even later, not like every single bit of it, but like a lot of the development channels. And at first, it was all pretty well. I was trying to find what to draw, but several issues arose. First off, whenever I needed to draw concepts for something, I was mainly like drawing the concepts for engines, and that was kind of good because I knew how to draw engines the best. However, that was the only real thing that I was like given to do, and there were some really strict limitations, so I'd have to think about everything in scale, even though it kind of seemed like it was strangely set up. Point is, all of these engines, I kind of like drew sketches. There was like quite a bit of feedback. They didn't really seem to be it didn't seem like they were really being modeled, or like that I was getting much more feedback on what was up with them, but that was kind of fine. And there were also these dev meetings every week, which were kind of cool. I'd try to attend them as often as possible. I stayed like about till the end on the first few ones. And well, things kind of started going south. First off, Scorched was kicked from the dev team because he had a very like aggressive vision of the project. He wanted it to be, pretty sure this was like Jack quoting him, like Worlds Adrift but with Rust mechanics. And I mean, yeah, that didn't seem good for most people, but apparently he constantly like delayed development to try to get that vision on board. Then there was also well, then there was also a little bit of inactivity, and then a little bit more of inactivity in the project channels, which kind of prompted me to quit because nobody was really giving me stuff to model, not model, but draw. So it seemed kind of weird. And I don't know, I just felt like something was wrong with the entire thing. Then, so then I basically, yeah, quit the dev team. Then Abeloth got kicked promptly. Actually, I'm not sure. It might have been while I was still in the dev team. I don't exactly remember, but I know that the reason was because he like bullied some kid into drawing not safe for work artwork of like his OC and that person's OC, and it was like some really weird shit. And there was like an entire Google Docs full of fucking things he did that were horrible. But whatever, some drama. He got kicked out. He did kind of present himself as this person with a dark past, and I don't think we'd actually like ever get to find out that he like scammed kids or something. So I don't fucking know. That basically happened. So now there was a whole bunch of time where just progress kind of fucking slowed down, and there was like a playable demo released. It was kind of underwhelming. There was also Shipbuilder, which was like really free in terms of how you could build stuff, but still it was extremely bare bones, very rough. So after a while, a person went into general, like the text chat, not the voice chat, and they started to basically say, hey, it's a bit strange that there's no updates going on and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure their username at that point was Astolfo. And I basically not confronted them, I agreed with them. I basically said, yeah, there's kind of nothing going on here. And then, well, okay, so here's the thing. We were basically talking about that, and we did get like a warning, I think, from one of the moderators that like we can critique it, but that we should keep it like civil. And I'm pretty sure, at least I know that I didn't, like when I fucking sent those messages, I wasn't like being like really fucking rude or anything, but I was being pretty direct about how I was really fucking well worried about the entire lack of updates. So that entire thing is of course going on, and what happens? A key drop suddenly happens. What does a key drop do? That means that Jack posts like 10 or 20 codes for the playable demo, and then people basically just get it. Like everybody fucking rushes to enter the code, and then it's all cool if you get it, but it's not cool if you're a little bit late. So why is this important? It is because a shitload of people don't know how to enter a Steam key, and they basically start asking in chat. Why is this suspicious? It is because that's while the argument was happening. So instead of having to clear chat or ban us, that would kind of like drown it out. And it sure worked for the first bit, and then we got promptly fucking banned, me and that other person. So after that, I of course called my friend Nikki, or DM'd him, so we would go in the voice chat of the World Adrift Discord. We'd go there, we'd basically sit there, and he would stream what was happening in that Discord to me. And then everything was going fine. We saw another smaller key drop happen, which would kind of justify why the first one happened, but I still think it was there just to kind of like clutter the chat. And well, it's there, and I'm just like watching what the fuck is going on, and then Nicky's stream suddenly cuts out, because guess the fuck what? He has been banned. It was the last thing that he saw on stream, that I saw on his stream, and that he, of course, like saw, was in announcements, basically sending a message like, question mark, or no, I don't know if there was a question mark, and basically a screenshot of us in that voice chat. And when he went there, he basically went to us and he fucking said, we of course, he like introduced himself like, oh, it's all fucking cool. He's like, oh, hi, what's up, guys? What are you doing here? And he of course didn't he didn't actually like mention the fact that Nikki was banned, so of course we asked what the fuck was up with that. He said that it was circumventing a ban because he was streaming the Discord for me. Of course it was an excuse, whatever, that's what he would fucking do. And we fucking started talking because he said that we can like fucking speak now. Because one thing that he always brings up, and he brought up then as well, is that he doesn't like us talking behind his back, which is exactly what we weren't doing until he fucking kicked us out of the Discord. So that was kind of a stupid thing of him to say. Then we went in circles about how we can't fucking argue at his place because it's an echo chamber, and even if we did make like a fucking valid point, a ton of people would be against it because they just wouldn't be fucking willing to like read through that. And no, this sounds like I'm just fucking strawmanning, but for real, there's a shitload of people who are just like, shut up, you don't believe in the project enough, you are the kind of people we don't need. So yeah, that kind of went in circles. I'm pretty sure that I have like a shitload of that recorded, but I have to find like the file that OBS recorded. The point is that went on for a while, and some discussion was had. And one of the greatest fucking red flags that appeared here is that Jack said that the way he knew that the game was not gonna fail and the reason why we can trust it is because he is sure of it. It's because he knows it, he likes the project, and he's gonna make sure it works. And now this of course is a pretty fucking neat thing to say, because you know what you believe in. If you believe in your project so much, you want to make sure that others know it as well. Now, here's an important thing that I should have mentioned a lot earlier. They're making $1,300 a month from Patreon. I know that's not a very high amount of money, but they've been like getting this for quite a fucking while. And it's from people, most of the time drunk off of the nostalgia of Worlds Adrift, hoping that the project would be like Worlds Adrift 2. Even like the fucking name hints like to, of course, Worlds Adrift, which is kind of obvious. There have been tons of like even things in modeling that resemble parts from Worlds Adrift a bit too closely, one being like a copy-pasted logo of the God Hands with like a tiny fucking change, and so on. But back to the main thing. So he was basically saying we know that we should believe that the project would work because he is fucking sure of it. So this is one of the last like bits of just retelling that I'm gonna do, because this is already 12 minutes long. But now on to the last part. A lot of people say that the entire project taking a long time is normal, that there's been corona, Jack has been going through some stuff with dying people and shit and similar, and that would kind of explain why the project would take so long, because it's been going on for like 3 years now. Apparently it started in 2017, and Jack already had plans with that, but I don't fucking know how that can even be proven, so I'm just gonna keep it out of this entire thing. The fact that the project is slow like the first thing that kind of conflicts with that is the sheer size of like the dev team. There's like, I'm not sure, I'd have to like check right now, I'd say at least like 10 people who are technically developers. I know that like 3 or 4 of them work. I know that GT, Wolfie, and somebody else have done like a pretty decent amount of work, but others, yeah, not really. I mean, as far as I at least see, or they're not just getting credit in the public channels. This is also kind of explained because not everybody is paid, as far as I know, which is also fine for a passion project, but I'm not sure how much when you are getting like monthly Patreon money. Then there's also the fact that there was corona, which is like it can be argued both ways. First off, that you know corona is something that just takes up time, and it's kind of fucking bad because you're suddenly your life is like turned upside down and shit. But on the other hand, you're literally fucking stuck in your home, and game development does not require too much touching grass unless you just need a bit of sanity, as far as I know. Then there's also the fact that wait, there was something important I need to mention. God, I need to fucking write this script a bit better. Um, so basically, if I remember it, I'll say it. If not, whatever. Okay, so this is a little addition that I'm going to paste into the fucking original voice clip, and that is that I kind of forgot a very important point in this part, and this is where I was basically comparing like the how quickly development has progressed here. And the most important point that I completely fucking forgot to mention is how there's several projects which have done much more progress in absurdly lesser amounts of time. So there was To the Skies, which in several months made like fucking basic shipbuilding. They had islands, they had a crafting system, inventory system. They've had basically all of that set up, and it also looked really fucking pretty. And it probably would have gone even better with custom ship frames and stuff if one of the most important like devs to the project didn't quit. Rest in peace to that game. I fucking loved it. Then there's a World's Drift project community Discord thingy for another like game. I do not know that much about it. This one seems to like intentionally go very close to the roots of World's Drift. I do not know what's gonna be different about it because I'm pretty new to the entire thing, but yeah. Then there's also So Wester Winds, which is made by Blessed, and it's also like a game that's doing very good on progress. I'd say I'm not sure this one has made it like the most far from all of them, but yeah, it's doing pretty fucking well as well. And it's also, I think it was like a year of development if you go over like the more modern version of the game with skyships. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is like pretty fucking good proof of why the project taking a lot of time is not really a good excuse. So yeah, that's all. Let's continue with the thing. On to the next thing, which is one of the things they don't like the most. It's not something that the devs can really do much about it, but it still kind of ties into the entire thing. So making like Patreon not really. I don't know. I think the Patreon should be shut down until a better product is available, like they were planning to do so a while back. Actually, they did shut down the Patreon for a while, but they turned it back on. Okay. So next on the next thing, the nostalgia ride. I are nostalgic because of Worlds Adrift. They really like how this game is similar. Worlds Adrift has been, of course, shut down, and everybody wants it back. And this is similar enough. So this is kind of, I mean, yeah, it's not really at the devs' fault fully, but there's tons and tons of people in the introductions channels, in the general and everywhere, basically saying, "Oh, I bought Worlds Rift, I played it a bit, and then I realized it was shut down when I returned, and I'm very sad." There's been at least over like 200 people saying that. I'm 99% sure because I've been looking through like the fucking introduction channel and just through the fucking other channels where people said that for quite a fucking while. Basically, that entire fucking thing is kind of an issue because people are expecting Worlds Adrift 2, even though the devs kind of said that that's not the plan, which is also contradicted by the fact that a lot of the mechanics and stuff is being like brought over directly from Worlds Adrift, but whatever, that's not necessarily gonna mean that the entire game is the same. So next up is the constant excuses, and this one is kind of fucking worrying to me because it could either mean they have like a big good update on the way like they're saying, or it could mean that they're just adding more and more like just wait for it guys layers in between them and the unfinished features. So the thing is, I've pretty recently like asked several times where the fuck all the features are because updates have kind of slowed down. There's been very little progress, like it's a really slow but really constant decline from what I've noticed. And every time I like ask that, like of course they do get some people saying like, yeah, where are they, or what are you talking about, it takes time. But a lot of the time a dev like basically comes up in chat and says we are working on a big update, and that's gonna have a lot of features. And Jack recently listed a whole bunch of those features. Apparently, all of them are done. It's just that the game doesn't perform well, which is kind of fucking hard to believe to me. And god fucking damn. And I'm really worried that it's just basically a whole bunch of fucking features that are not really finished and that are just being kept there as a. Yeah, I'm kind of confused why they wouldn't make several small updates. So Jack said that he knows that people get really pissed off at lots of small updates instead, like at having smaller updates instead of having like larger big ones. Um, which kind of fucking doesn't make sense because I don't remember much like anger being given towards like smaller updates, considering that most people would be happy to see anything. And that also, I mean, considering that it's such a fucking weird point to make, it also kind of makes me believe that it's an excuse. But yeah. So the constant excuses, that's all that there is to it. And the last thing, which is kind of a fucking small point to go over, but it has been kind of on my mind for a while, that is the lack of confirmation by supporters. And what I mean by this is that supporters are supposed to get quite a bit of updates in their like supporter exclusive channels. And I was thinking, when I had like access to some additional channels, like for a while, I know that after I left the dev team, I got to fucking test like the earliest implementation of multiplayer, which was like really buggy but still cool to have. I basically oh god, I'm fucking tired. I basically like if people would say, god damn, this game has no multiplayer, it's like that's the part they're lying about, I would like come up to them and say like, I can't say much, but I can confirm that I have fucking tried multiplayer, and while it was buggy, it was there. So I don't know, I'd expect other people would do at least something fucking similar if there was actual updates in such channels. um and basically, as a fucking final word, I think it's not worth it to fucking support this project monetarily, at least not in this current state, because with the way that the entire thing is like dragging along, I don't think it's going to really go anywhere. It seems like the dev team might be burnt out. The entire fucking situation just seems a bit too like both dead and chaotic at the same time, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. The points I have made. This is already 20 minutes long, but yeah, I hope that if somebody listened to this part, they can at least rethink this. I'm not gonna like fucking beg everybody to share this to whoever the fuck they know, but you know, if you have somebody who you want to tell these points to, feel free to fucking point the video in their direction. So that's all, and goodbye.